Doing a little work on the old first-gen Tacoma here today, guys. I'm going to show you what we're doing, a little work on the inside, also a new diagnostic tool I've been wanting to show you guys, and I'm going to get into all that right after a quick word of scripture, as always around here. So today I'm going to start with Colossians 3:13, which says, "Bear with one another, and if anyone has a complaint against another, forgive one another. Just as the Lord has forgiven you, you also must forgive one another." So definitely a call to believers, to Christians, that we're called to forgive one another. We're called to overlook offenses, even when someone has a real offense, has really offended you, or really you have a true reason to have a complaint against someone. We are called to forgive, because those of us in Christ have been forgiven of so much. And even if you're not a Christian now, or don't follow those teachings, imagine if everyone took that stance of forgiving one another. And that's sort of our automatic response, is to overlook complaints against other people and to actually choose to forgive them. And it's incredible how it's not only beneficial for the person who did the offense, but it's also incredibly freeing to us who choose to forgive as well. So thanks for listening, guys. Now I'm going to jump right into the work on the Tacoma here. You can see we've got the passenger door panel pulled off, actually for a number of reasons. Number one, we've got a broken door handle. This thing's just flopping around. It's not doing anything inside. And that is one common problem. I've had several of these trucks, and that's one failure point for sure. They're a plastic door handle, and actually even the mechanism inside is all plastic that actually does the work of moving the door rod. So unfortunately, these like to break pretty often. We do have a nice solution for that I'll show you guys. But most often I've seen them break in the cold. When it's really cold and dry out here, they're just super brittle. You go to open the door, no matter how gently you try to do it, and they break inside. This one actually broke midsummer here in the heat. So I guess it could get equally as weak in the heat. It was about 100 degrees down in eastern Colorado, and this side of the truck was sitting in the sun. My wife went to get in, and snap, we knew right away what happened. So got the door panel pulled off to replace this door handle, and then I'm also having a little power window trouble on this side. And as you can see, this door has been messed with before. Someone tore the plastic, and at least they sealed it back up, but sealed it back up with some foil tape. And I also noticed some heat shrink butt connectors spliced into the power window wires. So that's obviously suspect, and that brings me to the new tool we're going to use to diagnose what's going on. Is this passenger window is intermittent, whether it wants to work or not. So we got to track down some sort of intermittent open circuit. So we're going to be using this new circuit probe and breaker finder from VDiagtool, basically like a power probe, although this one is definitely more affordable. And bear with me, we're just trying it out. We're learning this tool ourselves. I familiarized myself with the manual a bit. Basically, this is like your power probe. You could apply positive or negative to the end of that probe to test components. You hook it up to either your vehicle battery, or I carry an extra battery back here for testing purposes. And then it's also got this breaker finder. So that's pretty interesting. I'm going to be using this to find any open circuits or weak circuits. And so I'm going to show you how this works as well. I'm a little more familiar with this. Like I said, there's some other popular brands. So we're going to get into that as soon as we start diagnosing the electrical side. And we even got a helper today. We've got Gracie Griffon to help us today, so should make light work of this. And yeah, hopefully get that door handle replaced, power window diagnosed and figured out, and then we could get our door panel back on. So this is the new door handle I wanted to show you guys. I actually got a set of these because these are an upgrade. They replaced that factory weak plastic handle with, although it's still plastic on the outside and it'll look the same, it'll look OEM, this part right here, if I could do it with one hand, those arms that move inside right here, that's actually metal on these. So I think that's going to be, let's see if I got a magnet handy, that's going to be a lot better off than relying on that plastic to open and close the, pull on the door rods and open and close the door. So that's an upgrade. We're definitely gonna do the passenger one while that door card's off, and then probably whenever the driver's side breaks, we'll swap that out as well. So stick with me and we'll get this fixed. Okay, got the door handle pulled off, and quick correction. So this is all plastic. This is the original one. We do have to swap the lock mechanism over to the new one, but this is actually metal. It's actually aluminum on the outside. So you can see this is all plastic, the original piece, and this is metal here on the grab handle. And then these arms I was referring to earlier, here and here, they're actually aluminum. So my magnet was not sticking to them, but they are in fact metal. So huge upgrade. Like I said, if you've got a first gen Tacoma, or really a lot of mid-2000s vehicles, you know, this 06 Chevy also has plastic door handles. I've never had one break on this truck, but very common on the Tacomas, and again, a lot of vehicles from this era. So I'll put a link to these in the description, and then this supplier probably makes upgraded metal replacements for a lot of other models as well. So I'm going to get the lock cylinder swapped over, get this reinstalled, and then we'll get to diagnosing the electrical issue. All right, got the new door handle installed. Gracie helped tremendously, didn't you? Good girl. Good girl. You're such a good helper. Yeah, you're a good baby Griffon. You're a good little Griffon. Okay, thanks for the help. So, got the new handle installed. Definitely an upgrade. Works wonderfully. Feels a little more substantial even in your hand. And like I said, hopefully shouldn't break in extreme hot, extreme cold, or just when you yank on it a little too hard. So again, I'll put the link in the description if you guys are interested in those to get rid of your piece of junk plastic door handle. So now let me get this sucker fired up and figure out this window problem. Okay, using this diagnostic probe from VDiag, I think I tracked down the power window problem to the switch, because I was able to come in here. Again, we found these butt connectors and knew those were suspect. Although they're good heat shrink connectors, and they seem to be on there. We could run a continuity test across those. But I came in and, oh, hi friend. Hi friend. Using my just auxiliary battery here, I got the probe hooked up to this battery, and it does show, let's see if you can see it well. Get out of the sun for a second here. It's going to read your current voltage. So if you rock this switch forward, it applies, in this case, 12.4 volts. If you rock that switch backwards, it applies ground. So whatever you have this tip on, you could apply either power or ground to test different components. So we came in and stabbed these wires, and we're able to make the window either go up or down by reversing polarity, all using this probe. So that's pretty cool. Now, in addition to that, you know, that's like your standard test probe. There's 4 settings up here. So you've got the applied voltage, and then you could use it like a multimeter where it will just read voltage and show you your min and max and stuff down there. And then the next one, that horseshoe emblem, is resistance. So you can measure resistance and or continuity. And then the final one is a diode test. So that's pretty cool. You could attach your auxiliary ground clamp to the negative side of a diode and then measure voltage off the tip of the probe on the output of the diode and basically do a drop test, see if there's any drop in voltage. So this thing is super cool. We'll see how the long-term quality is, but for now what I can tell you is it works like the other brands do, and maybe even has some more features. I don't know, I'm not super familiar with all of them, but it's definitely doing what I need to do. Like I said, applying power and ground. We knew the window motor was working every time going up and down, but I believe it's just a switch or connection issue. So I'm going to take apart these butt connectors, sure up those connections, and then move forward. But I'll just briefly show you the other part of this kit is this breaker finder. So this is pretty cool. You turn this on, and this little scroll wheel sets the sensitivity, and then you just push and hold this button and run the wand. You could actually hear it turn on, run the wand along a wire or along different components in a circuit, and you can test for breaks in the wire. So I don't suspect that to be the case here, although we could check. So you just press and hold, and then it'll emit sound out of the speaker if you've in fact come across a break. It says to keep it perpendicular to the wire you're testing. So like I said, I don't suspect that to be the case in this harness, but that'll be super handy in the future if we suspect a break in a wire, or you could even, it's hard to do all this with one hand, of course, but wiggle some wires and connectors while running this and test it. So it's definitely up in my game with electrical diagnosis. The quality seems to be just fine for now. I like all the different modes. Simple, easy to use. I like that it's only got a few buttons and switches, and again, just one-handed at the flip of a switch, I can apply power or ground to any component. So that's probably the biggest one for me. And then I really like that it's got this super long cord. So not sure how long, that's probably 15 or 20 feet. So you probably can connect to your vehicle battery and do testing all over the car if you don't carry an auxiliary battery like that. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish up that window repair, get the door panel back on, but hope this shed some light for you guys. I hope you'll be called to forgive if somebody offends you, if somebody really wrongs you. Just try choosing forgiveness and see how it affects that relationship with the other person, and also see how it affects you yourself. So if you're looking to upgrade your door handles, I'll put that link in the description. And then also, if you're in need of a diagnostic kit like this, check out VDiag. The link will be in the description as well, and I'll keep you guys posted on the long-term use of this. Definitely think I'll be using it quite a bit. So thanks again for watching. God bless each and every one of you, and I'll see you on the next one.